Okay, so this morning I'm speaking with Joanne Taylor. Good morning, Joanne.
Morning.
And Joanne looks after Year 7 transition. So the students moving from Year 6 in primary school over to Year 7, and works at Ribblesdale High School in Lancashire. And Ribblesdale started using Admissions Plus last year. Is that right? Last year?
Yeah, that's correct.
For Year 7 admissions. So thank you for joining us this morning. So could you first explain a little bit about what your admissions process was like before you started to use Admissions Plus and how that worked in your school?
Yeah, so previously everything was done on paper. Everything was transferred to parents on paper via booklets using traditional post. And then they had a period of time, they would return the booklets and the information to us. And there was then a manual data input in where one or two members of staff would then input everything into Sims that we needed from that data. And those that weren't done, there was a bit of a paper chase after that as well for those that may have missed the deadline or may have not received items in the post, for example.
Okay, a little bit of chasing up of forms and things. Yeah. Um, okay, so initially when you started looking at potentially getting a different solution, was there something particular that triggered that? Like maybe COVID, I'm thinking obviously for a lot of schools was a trigger for digital. But yeah, what led you to look at a different process?
Okay, so there were two things. We'd been thinking about it for a while because we're a Microsoft school, and so it fits with the school ethos of using digital forms wherever we can, using Microsoft Forms or using online platforms. But it was COVID that actually forced our hand and was the catalyst to that, really, and that's why we started exploring what other options were out there.
Okay. Yeah. I suppose that was very difficult with not being able to do, virtual, or people having to adopt virtual open days because you couldn't do your normal open days. And I mean, it was a huge change, wasn't it, in a very short space of time? Yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
definitely a trigger for a lot of schools. Um, okay, so after you started to use Admissions Plus, how did you find your process? I know you've had it for around a year, so initially it would have been, I guess, sort of bedding in the new system, but how have you found that your process has changed now from your original process that you had?
Um, the main change for us is the time that it saves, because what we do now is we send the everything through via email. We use the email templates that are provided by yourselves. We send that out to parents. The information goes to them and they can fill that in. In most cases, almost instantly. We got over 50% back in about a week. Because they can fill that in on a variety of different ways. They can use the mobile phones, for example. They can use the laptops. They can do it at work if they need to. It's not quite as onerous as actually filling in the form and having to go to the post office and post it back.
Yeah.
So we were really pleased that it's a little bit more instant for us. It also means that when the information is returned, it inputs into Sims automatically, so it saves staff time as well. The reception team and the office don't have to spend ages going through forms. And if any parents do miss the deadline, we can just send them another prompt. So it saves time in that way. So it's quite useful for us.
Okay. Yeah, I think one of the things I like about the platform is that you can see if an applicant has started an application, but they haven't actually finished it. Whereas obviously, if you've got people at home maybe completing a paper form, of course, you've got no idea that that is even in process. So I guess that's a good way to, be able to jog families.
Yeah, and also you can put your school policies on there that you want parents to agree to. You can decide which ones are mandatory, which ones are optional. Everything's all in one place, and it's very easy if there's any parental queries to direct them back to that particular page.
Mm, yeah. Okay. So, I mean, you've touched upon there's quite a few benefits there. Obviously, with I think for a lot of schools, the manual data inputting, the saving on that is obviously significant. For your school in particular, what would you say the key benefits are that you've seen?
It's saving time, really, is definitely the key benefit, and
Mhm.
also making the process smoother for the parents, making the process smoother for some staff as well that would have to input and a lot of it's automatic. And the cost as well was not prohibitive. So when you weigh up the cost benefit, it actually works out really well for us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So you mentioned that you were using some of the communication templates to speak with families. Did you find that that was easier to maybe connect with them, but, you know, before they've even joined the school in September?
Yeah, absolutely. Everything's set there for you, and you just make some minor adaptations to it to suit your school, and that works really well. That you can actually link with the parents and put them at ease with certain things as well, because it's all it's very well organised.
Yeah, no, it's a difficult year last year, obviously, and this year still for all staff in schools, and also for parents. I had my 3 at home, working at home. So I think these tools, the digital tools, have definitely helped us all. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And also, it gives you that connection, doesn't it? That you wouldn't have had without it. It makes that, you know, both parties, parents and teachers, can actually connect that way. So that's really useful as well.
Yeah. Okay, lovely. Well, Joanne, thank you very much for having a quick chat with me today, and I'm sure it will help other schools who are looking at using Admissions Plus for Year 7. So it's really great to have an insight from somebody who's using it. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you.